What's happening, YouTube? Ray here, and today I want to talk about tasting your tobacco better. How to dissect and really pick out the certain nuances that a lot of people might see in these reviews, these other videos, or just see other people talk about them all the time. But certain people aren't getting that. They're not, really getting a good idea of how to taste the nuances and stuff like that. And there've been a couple people that's asked me that I've tried to introduce into the pipe smoking world, and they're just not getting it, And there's several videos out there that really help. There's no way that I can touch mutton chop with his breath method, and I'll actually leave a link to that in the description because I'm not going to explain the breath method. It's already been explained much better than what I can do, but I will touch up on that a little bit and give some more pointers to help that go along. This video is going to be more for the beginner, though, it's to each their own. Somebody that's been smoking a pipe for 30 years might actually realize something, bring something to their attention. But as far as the breath method goes, it's the best way, honestly, that I've found. Now, disclaimer before I start on any of this. This is what helped me 100%. This is what really opened my eyes and is what really helped me. This might not help everyone. And also, if anybody has any other pointers, anything that I missed, please put it in the comments for these people that's wanting to get into the pipe smoking world. Help them out, make it enjoyable for them. But the first thing that I do want to touch on is the breath method. Let me get my pipe lip. I actually have Acadian Perique in it. It's a very complex blend. There's a lot of different nuances in it, and it also depends on how you smoke the pipe, and that's why I chose this. It's one of them, how you smoke it. You can actually get different flavors and different nuances, whether it be through a retrohale or just a mouthfeel. Now, I have already had this lit earlier, so it's ready to go. But one thing that I want to touch on the breath method that's not too awful clear, and I apologize for the way I sound with this thing in my mouth. I'm just not used to talking with a pipe in my mouth. I'm the only pipe smoker that I know of personally, and I'm around no others. But anyway, now the breath method is as you breathe in, you don't draw on the pipe every time. And when you breathe out, sometimes you can blow through the pipe. That's to help to keep the ember lit. Sorry about that. But now, one thing that people don't understand that's I've seen in comments, whether it be on message boards or groups on Facebook, is that when you draw in, when you actually do take the draw off the pipe, that entire draw is through the mouth. But it's not. To help you show that, to show exactly how long I actually draw on the pipe, and it also depends. You got to look at it as like an air fuel ratio in a car. You get too much gas, the car's running rich. You don't get enough, the car's running lean. And by taking in different amounts of smoke into your mouth as you retrohale, as you take in a full breath, you can pick out different nuances. Things will come to the forefront more. Different flavors will take a back seat, depending on how much smoke is actually carried through the breath. But I probably alright, we're ready to go. So first of all, this is going to be a breath inhale. Let me get this lit a little bit better. I'm sorry, I'm just not good at tutorials. Alright, now what I'm going to do when I actually draw on the pipe, I'll hit the start button on the phone so you can see exactly how long that I draw on it. See, I'm breathing through my nose right now. I'm not drawing on the pipe. Now this next breath, when I breathe through it, I'm starting now. I didn't draw on the pipe until probably about halfway through that breath, and then just sucked a little bit into my mouth and to just retrohale at the end of it. Now you can do that with different lengths of draws. I'm getting ashes everywhere. You can do that with different lengths of draws, so to speak. It didn't work on my phone. But anyway, that was a little bit longer of a draw. You don't necessarily draw when you're doing the breath method. You don't necessarily draw for that entire breath. You can do it right towards the tail end. You see, I'm breathing in. And then I drew on the pipe just a little bit in my mouth and just retrohale it. And by doing that, you change the mixture of the air that you're exhaling with the mixture of the smoke. You know, more smoke, less air. Sometimes, you know, you get less smoke. And that really helps you pick out the different nuances in the tobacco. There's another technique that it's not through retrohaling, but it's more of a something like that. Just flick with the back of your tongue a little bit. And what's funny about this tobacco through the retrohale, this has Perique, it has Dark Fired, it has a bunch of different tobaccos in it. But through the retrohale, there's a lot of Perique in it. There's a lot of the dark fruit that the olfactory nerves can actually pick up. But through that, I can still get a little bit of Perique with the mouthfeel, the mouthfeel on the tongue, but the taste more comes from the like a nutty tang, a nutty vinegar. I'm sorry, my dogs are barking. That'd be through like the Burleys and the Dark Fire that you can actually get through it. But you don't taste nowhere near the amount of Perique. But it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of let me close this door. These dogs are barking. Sorry about that. But you can taste different nuances at different levels, and sometimes, depending on the ratio, your smoke to air ratio, you'll pick out different ones in different strengths. So that's just to reiterate and hopefully simplify the understanding of the breath method a little bit. But another thing that I want to talk about to help really pick out nuances, and it might be sort of a taboo topic here, but hygiene. If you haven't brushed your teeth in 3 days, you're not going to taste much of nothing. It's I mean, your olfactory nerves, your taste buds, they're sensors. They're not going to work if they're not clean. You know, I just want to throw that out there because it is a thing. You know, you don't have to raise your hand if it's you. You know, just okay, you know, it'll be good enough. And another thing is, what we really have to understand what smoke is. Now, this is one that I've not really heard anyone touch on a lot, because smoke in itself is basically just unburnt fuel. It's it's an incomplete combustion, I think is the correct definition for it. The flavors and aromas that we get aren't actually the smoke. They are the oils that is released from the tobacco during the combustion that is carried by the smoke. So the number one enemy to tasting tobacco is heat. What heat does when it gets too hot, it'll destroy the oils, and it produces more smoke, because I mean, you got a lose-lose situation there. You know, you're not getting the oils from the aromas or the flavors, and you're getting more smoke. Excuse me, I'm talking too much. But smoke tastes like smoke. You know, you're going to get ash, you're going to get char. It's going to taste like smoke. When you taste tobacco, especially on the retrohale, or it be you know, on the tongue, one thing that I want to show is you can't really tell a lot of where the pipe is placed on the tongue, but okay, make sure the tip right there. You know, most people do it subconsciously. Most people have done it their entire life and not realize that that's what it is. But you want that smoke to hit that tongue, because that's going to carry the optimum amount of the aromas and the flavors to your taste buds. But too much smoke, and all you're going to taste is smoke. Therefore, heat, not only does it kill the oils, the aromas, and the flavors, it also produces more smoke. Now, I know a lot of you guys watch these review videos. You know, it's I've actually seen them on some of mine. But it looks like, you know, these guys that's talking about this tobacco, how good it is. It's man, there's just these plumes, these clouds of smoke, and it just looks, you know, it looks so good. But don't let that fool you, because I actually, behind here, I actually have 2 lights. you know, and that's the smoke looks a whole lot thicker on the camera because the lights are behind the camera. The light is reflecting off that smoke, and it just makes the smoke just look, you know, an insane amount of smoke. You know, I've noticed that a lot in if you watch Stuff and Things, Bradley, you know, he uses cameras behind his, even matches 860, you know, he done a lot of his reviews outside and stuff. You have the sun shining and everything, but it looks like he's just, you know, puffing away. But he knows what he's doing, and it's not necessarily that there's a lot of smoke coming out. You're seeing a lot of the light reflected back off the smoke. So don't let these review videos fool you about the more smoke the better, because it's not like that. Let's see. A clean pallet is very, you have to have a clean pallet. Wine tasters, they use cheese, bread, stuff like that. I've been in candle shops. They have bags of coffee beans set out, so you can actually, you know, reset your senses to you know, so because once you start smelling stuff so much, you become numb to it. Like when you go to a restaurant, and when you get there, you know, you smell all the wonderful food and everything, but when you're sitting at your table for 10 minutes, you really can't smell it anymore. Your body gets used to it, you adjust to it. So it's important to keep your senses clean and reset. Now smoke, it is an alkaline. Hang on. I'm just not used to puffing and talking. Smoke is an alkaline. Acidity basically cleanses the alkaline. So what you want when you're puffing, you prefer to sip on something more acidic, whether it be coffee. My personal favorite is spiced apple cider, Earl Grey tea. That's actually what I have right now, some Earl Grey. And it's very bitter, but it goes very well with sweet. I mean, you got to remember too, when you're trying to choose a drink, opposites attract basically. If you have a sweet smoke, a bitter drink will help emphasize both of the flavors from the drink and the tobacco itself. See on the camera, that looks like an insane amount of smoke. But it's not, you know, it's not a lot at all, I promise you. Like I said, I wanted to make this video to help some of the newcomers out to the hobby, ones that might be getting discouraged. Sip your tobacco. When you draw using the breath method, if you learn it, don't take that full breath from the pipe. Breathe in through your nose, and then towards the end, draw a little bit on the pipe and retrohale. Different amounts will give you different nuances and flavors, or help really emphasize those certain flavors and aromas. Heat kills the oils. Heat destroys it. Therefore, there's no flavor or oils or aromas left to taste or smell because the heat killed it. And on top of that, it does produce more smoke, which you're not actually tasting the smoke. The smoke is a transporter. It is a carrier for the flavors and aromas. Hygiene is critical. Floss, brush your teeth, Biotine, use mouthwash. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody, but like I said, you don't have to raise your hand. But other than that, guys, practice, practice, practice. You're not going to get this overnight. I learned years ago, basically when vaping first hit the scene, I learned how critical it was to work on your palate, how to cleanse it. I was what they call a mixologist for a couple of years, ran my own e-liquid company. Therefore, I went through thousands of different flavors that you could get, you know, and I've still got a lot of them in there. I mean, it's basically flavor suspended in propylene glycol, which I think a lot of it is actually used in aromatic tobacco. But I learned to go through all of that then, you know, how to taste the different things and really how to pick it out. You know, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of other reviewers, and they're not wrong, you know, I'm not pointing fingers, they're not wrong, you know, about how to taste tobacco better and stuff. And they're just like, you just got to keep doing it, and you got to keep learning what you're tasting. And in most part, in these situations, you can't learn what you're tasting if you can't taste it. You know, you have to learn how to taste it first. Then you can learn what you are tasting. And that's very critical, you know, especially getting started out, that someone should realize, because I've seen more people get discouraged and be like, ah, you know, it ain't for me, you know, and it's because we're not helping them enough. We're not giving them enough information to go on. The dedicated ones, when I learned, it was all YouTube, you know, and it was a rough road, just like it is for everybody, unless you actually have that physical mentor that you can talk to that's in front of you. I'm sorry, my dog just laid down and hit the camera. But unless you have that mentor or someone else that you can ask to for reference, you don't have that personal, you know, interaction with someone to be like, no, you're not drawing that right. You know, you're not sipping that right. You know, you're sipping it too much, you're sipping it too hard. It's just very light draws, and it's I learned through trial and error, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have. A lot of you guys are going through that right now. But you know, this we are the only interaction that a lot of newcomers will have. You know, because they don't personally know anyone else either in their everyday life. But I'm going to link the breath method. I'm going to link packing techniques, because packing is important. I'm going to link some other videos, some beginner videos to try to help you guys out. But and you experienced pipe smokers, if you do happen to watch this, if I missed anything, if you want to emphasize anything, or if you think that I'm wrong about something, please let me know. You know, this is speaking from my own experience, but if you think that I'm wrong, please correct me, because you'll also be correcting, you know, anyone else that's looking to get into this hobby. Please put it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think, and that's about all I got, guys. Hopefully this helps you out. Y'all take care. Thanks for watching.